Every year, hundreds of thousands of Texas school children spend weeks preparing for the state of Texas assessments of academic readiness, commonly known as the STARR. But a growing number of their parents are frustrated with the state-mandated testing, some even opting them out of it. Action 4's Brett Crandall joins us to explain.
From pep rallies like this one in Brownsville to music videos like this one in La Jolla.
Tabasco kids gonna give it to you. It's testing time and we're in the spot. Don't believe us, just watch.
Schools are doing everything they can to get students pumped up before taking the STARR exam.
It's a hard test. It's not easy. It's not an easy exam.
But the pressure these students are sometimes put under can be overwhelming.
My daughter would come home just a nervous wreck.
Carrie Marino says her daughter Sadie has received high scores on her state exams. But with so many practice tests, Carrie believes her daughter is losing valuable learning time in the classroom while she's preparing for them.
It's just so much pressure on the kids, and that's not why you go to school. You don't go to school to take a test. You go to school to learn and to learn how to learn and to develop relationships with other people. You don't go to school to take a test.
Frustrated, Carrie looked online and found she was not alone. Facebook group Texas Parents Opt Out of State Tests is quickly growing, with more than 20,000 followers. Carrie opted to opt her daughter out for 1 year, but decided it wasn't worth it.
She was missing out on so many incentives that she was just like, Mom, I just want to take it.
Many parents are concerned with the high-stakes testing, exams that must be passed to either advance to the next grade or graduate. That's why some parents and educators from across the state organized the group TAMSA, Texans advocating for meaningful student assessment.
The accountability system is so tied up in this one test score. It's crazy.
A board member for the group, Tiffany Hatch, is frustrated with the way the test is administered and the time that goes into preparing for it.
And we have teachers that have told us we have to basically stop our teaching a few weeks before the test, some classes a few months before the test, to just do this test prep.
While state testing is nothing new, Edinburgh English teacher Sue Perez says the exams are much more challenging than they were 23 years ago when she started teaching. But Sue believes the raising of the bar will better prepare students for the real world.
The market has become more competitive. And so a student has to perform. They have to perform at a higher standard in order to be competitive.
Consequently, the number of students not passing the state test has risen. State Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa supports an avenue for some of those students to still graduate.
For us to have a test be the measuring device that will determine whether or not that student continues with a career or gets no diploma or degree is not fair to the student or his family.
That's why Hinojosa voted in favor of Senate Bill 159, which would allow students who aren't good test takers to still graduate. The state legislature cut the number of required exams by 2/3 just a year after the STARR test was implemented. But it wasn't enough for everyone. In a 2014 University of Texas Tribune survey, 64% of respondents said it would be extremely or somewhat effective to reduce the number of state standardized tests.
I think in general, there's too much testing, not enough teaching.
Having prepared her own students for 4 different state exams in her 17-year teaching career, McAllen School Board member Hilda Garza de Shazo says the state test has evolved into the sole source of school accountability.
Yes, we need to be held accountable. All teachers, all school districts need to be held accountable. But to what are we holding them accountable? To what standard are we holding them accountable?
Dozens of schools across the valley have failed to meet the state standard, but de Shazo believes a one-size-fits-all standard does not show the success of a school.
If you take a student from point A or from 1 and move him to a 4, but the state says you have to have a 7, well, wait a minute. We were able to take the student from point 1 to point 4. That's a big gap. If the gap is being closed, you know what? Teachers are doing their jobs. Districts are doing their jobs.
And that was Brett Crandall reporting. State testing is also big business. Texas paid out more than $90 million to Pearson in 2013-2014 to write, distribute, and grade those tests.